Okay, so today's video is going to be another video in the series of Should I Buy This Bike? So I've been looking at several bikes over the course of the last couple of weeks as a project bike for this winter. The Springer is almost done over there. I got the carburetor back. I did something with it yesterday from the shop. I wasn't getting any vacuum out of it, and you know on those bikes the petcock has to have a vacuum in order to get fuel. So I was trying everything. I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. It didn't work. I did put a vacuum on the petcock, so I know the petcock worked when it had a vacuum on it. So I just brought it to the shop and I said, just rebuild this thing. So they rebuilt it for me. So I'll be trying that out tomorrow. But to get back on topic, I'm looking for another project bike to start this winter. So I've looked at several. The last one I looked at, if you watched the last video, was an 83 shovel. Kind of interesting bike. It's still for sale. So this time I'm looking at something a little bit different. So if you look at this bike, it's a 2003 Fat Boy Anniversary Edition. So here's a long view of this bike. It's a pretty nice bike. It's all custom. It's kind of a purplish blue custom paint on it, so it doesn't have the anniversary paint job on it. But if we look at this picture here, you can see the rear end. The rear end is, there's chrome everywhere on this bike. There's no doubt about it. This is a nice bike. Now I don't remember if the sprocket was actually a cover or if they replaced the sprocket with a chrome sprocket. Put the chrome belt guard on there, and then the frame. Chrome on that. So if we look at this next picture, not much to see there, just a kind of seat in the engine. Same thing with this bike. They do have whoever did the paint job did a real nice job on the paint job. You see the Harley emblem that they put on the bike. Now this does have, let me see if I can find the picture. If you look at this picture and you look right below the ignition switch, you can see the anniversary emblem on that bike. So this has different type of gas cap. You can see the fuel gauge is LED, and it illuminates red, yellow, and green when there's fuel in it. Let me find this one picture. So here's another picture of the side. Nice emblem on the side, Harley-Davidson emblem, and it's kind of like I said, it's kind of a purplish, and it's got kind of purplish blue ghost flames with it. Now this bike does have the Screaming Eagle hydraulic cam chain tensioner upgrade. It does have the new cam plate in it. I believe they put new cams in it too. Adjustable push rods. So that something that's been taken care of. It's got Reinhardt pipes on it. You can see the rear passenger floorboards. Those are all chrome. Like I said, there's chrome everywhere on this bike. Now, the downside to this bike, which it's not really a downside, but I don't really understand why they did this. If you look at this front wheel, for some reason, and I didn't even know this was possible, that they sent this out to be the front wheel to be powder-coated chrome. I'm not sure why you would do that. I mean, I think if you look at the picture, you can kind of see that it's got like not like an orange peel to it, but you can definitely see it's been painted with something. He said it was powder coated. I don't really see the point in that. I would rather have just the brushed aluminum wheel like it is. He said it doesn't have to be polished, but you still got to clean this rim off. The whole thing is not powder coated, so you can see there's a spot, on the side there that has to be done. There is a mark, if you can see right there. So there is a chip out of that paint. Now the downside to custom paint, and I'm not against custom paint, obviously, you can see that bike behind me, it's got a custom job on it. The downside is you're never going to be able to match this paint with everything. It's going to be, you've either got to repaint the whole bike. Now when we had this bike painted, they gave us actually a little bottle of touch-up paint, which I've used a couple times. I asked him if he had any touch-up paint. He didn't have any touch-up paint for this bike. So you're going to have to try to mix and match something to fix that. One thing that I didn't like on this bike. Let me see if I can get to that picture. This has ape hangers on it. Now, I'm not a big fan of ape hangers at all. I don't like them. I never liked them on a bike. This bike here has mini apes on it, which is kind of fine. But I just never liked ape hangers. So that would be the first thing I'd have to do. I'd have to get the regular stock bars, and then, of course, the cables, I think he said, are 4 inches over for this. So you'd have to get new cables. It's possible you could still use these, but there'd be a lot of extra. You'd have a lot of it bowing out the front of the bike. But, you know, eventually you'd have to replace the throttle, idle, and the clutch cable on there. I don't think he said there was anything wrong with it as far as, you know, it's ready to ride. The only problem is there's not a whole lot of work that needs to be done to this bike. So I don't know if this is something that's going to fit what I want. Just because there's, like I said, there's just not a whole lot to do on this bike. I mean, the only thing I would probably do to it is pull the cylinders out and have the cylinders diamond cut. That would probably be the only thing I would do. It is fuel injected, which is nice. You don't have to mess with the carburetor anymore. So it is nice that it's fuel injected. And it does have, I don't know if I got a picture of it here. You might be able to see it right below the horn housing right here, if I can zoom in on that. It does have the anniversary emblem on it. And I did run a Carfax on this, so this is authentic, you know, 2003 anniversary edition. I don't know if the anniversary edition came with the chrome front end like that, with the tubes on it. It might have been just brushed aluminum that it came with. I don't remember. All the lights have been swapped out for LED lights. It is a really nice bike. It's a very nice looking bike. But again, this is a bike that I really want a bike that has bags on it, and I don't think Fat Boys look good at all with bags. He did have, if you see this picture right here, he does have the backrest that goes on these 2 mounting points right there. So he does have a backrest for about this bike. It's still for sale. I looked at this last week or 2 weeks ago. It's still for sale. Both the bikes I looked at are still for sale, so I don't expect either one of these to move. This is really not the right time of year to buy a bike in the summertime. I'm just seeing a lot of bikes on there now that people are trying to get rid of, especially newer models like, you know, 2019 up, and they want some ridiculous prices for them because they're trying to get off. You can tell when somebody has a 2020 or a 2021 for a ridiculous price. They're trying to get out from underneath the loan. They don't want to keep paying this $500 or $600 a month for a loan, so they're trying to get out from underneath it. And there's a lot of bikes like that around. The price on this bike was right. It was a good price for this bike for what he wanted for it. He already had a couple of people come look at it. Why they didn't take it, I have no idea. So this one still is a possibility. I'm going to look at several more bikes in the coming weeks. I was actually supposed to go look at one tomorrow. Today is Saturday, July 1st. I was going to look at it tomorrow, but then I realized it's July 4th weekend, so I don't want to bother anybody. And the only time I can look at this bike is on Sunday because this guy works till like 8 o'clock at night. So, and it's quite a ways from me. It's probably about 40, 50 miles from me. So, but it is a bike that I'm really interested in. So I'm going to see if he's still, it's been up for sale right now for like a month. So nobody's, you know, bought it yet, or nobody's made an offer on it yet. So I'm going to go look at that next week. I'll make arrangements with him to go look at that next Sunday. And we'll move on from there. I'm hoping that probably by the middle of the week I'll have the Springer running. Like I said, I'm going to work on the carburetor tomorrow and get that installed. And that should be running anyway. Then all I got to do is I got to take the tank off again. There's some small wiring I have to get at underneath the tank. So once I take that off, get the carburetor on. The shop that I bought this from is looking for a stock front tire. I gave them the part number. They're going to go to a shop that they know that has a parts locator. There's got to be somebody in the country that has that front tire, that front wheel. So hopefully I'll find out something next week on that, and I'll get that front wheel in, and then we'll have, you know, the front end like it's supposed to be. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Leave me some comments below. What do you think of this bike? I do kind of like this bike, although, you know, like I said, it doesn't really have a whole lot of work to do on it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.